Good morning, everyone. It is August 2nd, 2024, and today I would like to share with you a little story while I'm shuffling. The story is about what manifesting actually looks like. We have been working on this manifestation journey for the past 4 weeks, and we keep on coming up with the same stumbling blocks. Tarot keeps reminding us how this journey works. It keeps reminding us to try and stay in the right frame of mind, to try and stay in the right energy, and reminding us to continue to look for that feeling of joy, for that feeling of happiness, keeping ourselves in the right space so that we can magnetize the right kinds of things into our lives. And that can be extremely daunting if we don't know exactly what we're looking for in terms of manifestation. It's easy to discount this process. It's easy to say, I don't know what I'm doing here, this doesn't work. So I really want to share with you an anecdotal story about how it can show up in life. So I'm going to tell you about my grandest manifestation journey. It started a long time ago when my husband and I got married. We were living in apartments. We were starting our family, and we decided to look for our first house. So we found this amazing townhouse. It was big, it was new, and it was super cheap because it was a foreclosed townhouse. And it only required a little bit of work. It just required some cosmetic updates like paint and carpet, that kind of thing. Well, we lived in that house for a few years, and I loved it. We all loved it. That was a beautiful, amazing house, perfect for our family. And then when our daughter came to the age where she needed to go to school, we decided we had to start looking for a neighborhood that offered better public schools. So that is what we did. And sadly, we had to sell our house and move into a new house. So we chose this new house, this was years ago, in an excellent neighborhood. School zones were fantastic, family-oriented place, but the house that we were purchasing was very old, needed a lot of work, and we did it because we were promised that we were going to have some financial help from some family members. Well, when we got into that house, we discovered that it required a lot more work than we initially anticipated. It had some really serious structural issues in addition to all of the things that we knew about. And right when we discovered that, the people who made their promises unfortunately were unable to keep them. So we were on our own in that house, and we raised our children all through school in that house, and the entire time I kept saying, as soon as our youngest graduates high school, we are putting this house on the market and we are moving because I never want to be in this house again. I was really unhappy. It was a very depressing place to be. It was small. We all, had to share one bathroom. There wasn't a single corner of that house that wasn't in disrepair, although we continued to work on it and fix it up. Well, few years before we ended up at a time where our youngest was going to graduate, I ended up having a really good year at work. And so we had some extra money, and I thought, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to put this money into updating the kitchen. That way, if we can't sell the house, fine. At least I'll have a nice big kitchen that I can enjoy because I love to cook, I love to entertain, and I like to be with my family when I'm doing that. So we put this money into the kitchen, and it turned out absolutely amazing. We did all the work ourselves. Well, a few years after that, right when our youngest was graduating high school, suddenly there was this massive housing boom. And it was a seller's market like no one had ever seen. I'm sure you're all aware of this. If you're in the United States, you saw that back in 2021, everybody was looking for a house, and the seller's market was absolutely booming. Well, we put our house on the market. We fixed it up. It was great. I mean, we really did a beautiful job in that house. And within just a few months, like 2 months, someone wanted to buy it for over asking price. And then we were faced with a new dilemma. How do we pick up our family of 5 plus some because of our children's significant others and all of our pets and find a place to live when the market is still such a seller's market and we're not going to be able to find just the right house that we want? We were looking for a place to rent temporarily, and I talked to my sister and she said, you know, your brother and I just bought this house, this cabin in the mountains, and you're welcome to rent that out. Bring your family out there. It's not too far from where we were. My husband and I were both working from home at that time because after COVID, everybody was working from home who could, so we didn't need to commute. And we were able to pick up our family and keep them in this cabin. For 9 months, we lived happily in a cabin on a mountain while my husband and I were looking for our next house. And we were really thinking that the next house was going to be the place that we were going to retire in. You know, we're not near retirement age yet, but we thought that's going to be the end all be all of houses. So we were looking for something really special. We wanted to get a little farmette somewhere. And the problem with that was that we couldn't afford it. All of the good houses that had a little bit of land were either way too far away from our family and our roots, or they needed a lot too much work, or they were just too expensive. So it took us 9 months. And for 9 months, I had this list, this ongoing list of all the things that I absolutely wanted and needed to have in our next house. We were looking for a farmette that had 4 bedrooms, space for home office, back to the woods because I need to be near trees. We wanted to have high ceilings. We wanted it to be spacious and airy, lots of storage, a good kitchen. I mean, there were some serious things that we really could not let go of, things that we had to prioritize. And then there were some wants, you know, and what I did was every time we went to another house, and I tell you, this is no exaggeration, we looked at 100 houses minimum. We actually went out and toured over 100 houses, and every single time we went into one of those houses, I would notice things. I would think, oh, that's a beautiful room. Or, wow, those windows in that room are really beautiful. I love those arched windows. Or, gee, that kitchen's really great. And my husband started getting the idea like, man, I'd really love to have a jacuzzi tub in the bathroom, you know, and we were just having fun with it. So 8 months went by. We're still trucking and looking for this house, this perfect farmette that has all the bells and whistles that we want, but especially what we need. And then we decide, you know, we gotta move. We gotta uproot again, get out of this mountain because we had young adult children who needed to get back to school, right? They needed to start college, start their lives. So I sat down and I had a good conversation, and we decided, let's expand, let's consider that the next house we buy might not be the forever home. Maybe we'll get something temporary that we can afford that will work for our family. And the whole entire time we were looking, the one present factor was everything was going to be okay. We were going to find the house for us. And I'll tell you, as soon as we opened that up, like within a week, my husband called me and he sent me a text message with a listing of this absolutely beautiful townhouse that was within an hour from our original home, had all the bedrooms that we needed, had a home office, had a finished basement, had a big kitchen, had 9-foot ceilings, had a sunroom. I had always wanted a living room and a family room so that I could enter the house without feeling totally overwhelmed with, you know, life mess. It had a living room and a family room. It had a jacuzzi tub, a townhouse that had absolutely no parking restrictions, ample parking, and it backs to the woods. And we got in this house It actually went on the market the day my husband found the listing. Out of 13 people bidding on the house, we ended up getting that house without having to put a whole lot of extra money down. We didn't have to go way over asking price. We just simply were like, miraculously given this house. It was amazing. And it has changed our lives. And we're in this house now. And although I thought it would be a temporary solution, I'm so happy and at home here. And I'll tell you, the funniest thing was that the universe really was like, let me show you what I can do. Like, hold my beer, and it gave us absolutely everything on the list, including a community swimming pool, because my husband at one point thought, it would be really nice to have a swimming pool. And I thought, yeah, but I don't want to maintain a swimming pool. And so now we have a swimming pool that we don't have to maintain. This is what manifesting looks like. When we can let go of our attachment to the outcome, and we can focus in on the feelings that we have when we receive what we want, the universe ends up saying, hold my beer. Let's see how good this can get. And then it happens. So I wanted to tell you that story. I know it's a little long, but there's so many details to put in place because, it's a miracle that the housing market went nuts right when our son was graduating high school. It was a miracle that my sister and brother had this amazing house for us to live in, which quite frankly allowed me to really tap into my tarot roots sitting there in the Appalachian Mountains, really feeling connected for 9 months. It was a miracle that we found every single thing we were asking for in a townhouse. And it was a townhouse that we are very happy in. So I tell you that story as an example because I want you to sit with that and understand that is really what you're looking for in terms of manifestation. You're not saying, gee, universe, I want to be a billionaire. Please help me become a billionaire. You're saying, universe, here are the things that I'm drawn to and that create joy for me and for the people around me. And the universe wants to create more joy. If we can perceive joy and happiness and comfort and peace, then the universe will experience joy, peace, comfort, and happiness. If we're experiencing sadness and loneliness and want and lack and fear, then we are creating those for the universe to experience as well. So remember, we're working on a team. This is a partnership. This is oneness. So let's see where these tarot cards are coming for today. Be careful not to misjudge. When you get the Justice card in reverse, it is asking you to reframe, to reassess, to consider that what you once believed was true may not be absolutely true. You've got to be willing to negotiate. You've got to be willing to open your mind. You've got to be willing to consider other aspects and change your mind about things, even if you believe that you know the truth and the facts about something. You've got to be willing to learn more and change your mind when the time comes. It's not an injustice. Remember that it's not an injustice. It is justice. It is our ability, our capacity to reframe something that we once believed was wrong. The Page of Cups is asking us to be curious. The Page of Cups is asking us to be friendly. The Page of Cups is asking us to consider moving forward with delight rather than fear. There's a lot of water in this card. Remember, water always signifies our subconscious. When we can manifest a subconscious that is constantly searching for and reminding us that this world is a wonderful place, that beauty can be found anywhere, we end up with the confirmation bias that the universe wants us to see, which is that there is beauty everywhere, and we see patterns of glory and beauty and miracles. Now, that doesn't mean it's easy, right? We keep on coming up to this. It's not hard, but if we look at it like we are alone and it's not done with partnership, that's what this card is saying when it's in reverse. It's talking about not being on a team, not working with a partner, having communication problems. When we forget that this is a team effort, we take on too much of the burden for ourselves and it becomes absolutely exhausting and it's difficult to want to move forward. But the prize is there. It's all here for you. The King of Pentacles sitting here in this lush garden that is absolutely abundant and glorious and fruitful is what is here for you. Remember that. And this card, the Eight of Wands, I'm gonna hold it up to the camera. Do you get the feeling of this rushing forward, this wind that is pointing all of these wands into this same direction? They're working in synchrony, right? They're all going together and they are rushing to the destination. That is the energy that we are in when we're working with the universe. And remember, we are always working with the universe. The universe is always working with us. It's all about what we are calling in, right? And Temperance. This is one of the first cards that I pulled when I started reading on camera for you guys. Remember, the Temperance is about balance. And it's about being your absolute authentic being within this universe. It's about not being the chameleon, not being attached to outcomes, not being, walking around in sort of a charade so that you can fit in and adapt. It's about being connected and grounded and being yourself in all situations. So this is the exercise. I want you guys to really focus in on this exercise. We want to be our core, ourselves, and we want ourselves and our core to be recognizably at one with the universe, with our spirit guides, calling in the things that bring us joy, because the more joy and happiness we bring into us, the more joy and happiness the universe gets to experience. And that is our primary role here. We are to be love. We are to generate love. We are to generate peace and happiness and contentment. This is a team effort. Remember that this is a team effort. If you forget that, if you forget that you're working with an absolutely powerful force that can say, hey, hold my beer, let's see how good this can get, then you're going to be working really way too hard. You don't have to work so hard. The abundance is here for you. So thank you. I'm going to clear these cards and I'm going to pull one more for today. We may come back a little bit later to do a pick a card. I'm feeling like today's a good day for a pick a card. I'm not going to tack that on to the end of this video. If you'd like to see the pick a card after this, I think you should just check back into the YouTube channel and I'll have something posted a little bit later. But for right now, let's see what we should be walking away with in this tarot conversation and how we can stay on this manifestation journey without becoming disappointed. We want to avoid those disappointments. And that seems to be the pitfall that the tarot keeps telling us. Look, this is where you got to get out of. This is where you got to get out of. You've got to be one with the universe. How good can this get? While I'm shuffling here, please remember to like and subscribe. And, I would really love the more anecdotal evidence we have to support manifestation, the better off we'll all be. It's great for other people to hear how this can show up. And it's a really powerful reminder for ourselves when we're conscious of how this shows up in our lives to share that with others. We remember and we get the feeling of what does it really feel like to manifest. And it is empowering. It's amazing to know that you have this incredible force with you all the time. So this is strength in reverse. And this is reminding us This is not a push and shove battle, right? We don't have to force anything into position. We're not trying to swim upstream. Stop trying to swim against the current. You want to relax into it. It's all here for you. It's all here for you. Relax into the current and just be one. And you've got it. It's already been done for you. It is done, it is done, it is done. So thank you. I hope you have a wonderful day. I love you all. I'm excited for you all. I can't wait to hear about how manifesting has come up in your lives. Please tell me your stories. I want to hear about them, and everybody does. Have a wonderful weekend. I will see you again with a pick a card, and I will talk to you later.